Awesome. Welcome, everyone. This is the pre-race briefing for the Try the Parks Lake Lanier Sprint for 2026. Um, we'll go through kind of the whole race step by step in about 20, 30 minutes. If there's something that comes to your mind, feel free to jump off mute and ask a question or throw it in the chat. And at the end, we'll stay here until as many questions are answered. So, um, very, very excited. It's a great race and it'll be a lot of fun. Leather's looking good. So we'll jump in. Uh, I'll just real quick introduce myself. We'll talk about pre-race. We'll walk through swim, bike, run for the race, give some tips, and then open questions. So I'm Alex Fuller. I'm based in Cumming, Georgia. I am a former professional triathlete. I did try the parks lots and lots. I'm going to do them again soon. I won the full series a couple times. And Lake Lanier is one of the best races. I love it. Um, I work in logistics, so I do like truck freight, that kind of thing. I have three kids. I ran the Boston Marathon last month, and I'm going to Japan next week for a couple of weeks with my family for fun. So I don't have a target race right now because I'm going to travel and but lots of good stuff going on. So that's about me. And so they asked me to kind of do a briefing because uh, I've done the races many, many times. Um, so let's go into you guys. So I didn't do one this time, but normally I do like a quick survey of just who's coming to these meetings and who's coming to the race. And you got, maybe a chunk of people who they've done this race before. You have another chunk of people that they didn't do this race specifically, but they've done other Try the Parks races. And then you have a lot of people that this is their first time ever racing Try the Parks, maybe ever racing a triathlon, which is awesome. Welcome, welcome. Doing your first triathlon is the best experience because you're guaranteed a personal record, personal best performance. So I always like that. So if you're there, hey, this is my first time, I have no clue what's going on. Awesome. You're among friends and we're here to guide you through everything. If you're like, hey, I kind of know what's going on, but I want to know the details about this race specifically, we'll jump into that as well. So that's kind of a makeup of what a lot of people hear. So there are a lot of people doing this for the first time. So if that's you, you're among friends. This is a very friendly environment, and we're here to help each other. Uh, Again, if you have any questions going through, let me know. Otherwise, we'll answer as many questions at the end. So we are coming into Saturday. Today's Tuesday. So this is my recommendation of what to do for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, I would get all your gear sorted out, kind of laid out, make sure you have everything you need for Saturday. That way, if you're like, oh shoot, my bike's not ready or I'm missing something, you have a couple days to figure that out. So Wednesday, that's when I recommend getting gear sorted out. Thursday, there's an optional packet pickup at it's not all three sports, Podium Multisport. Um, and then I wouldn't do any hard workouts probably Thursday, Friday going into the race. You don't need a full taper. It's probably isn't an A race for those that are doing multiple races, but give a couple of days to recovery so you can have your best performance on Saturday. Friday, I would pack all my stuff together and go to bed early and just relax. Then we get to race morning. So Saturday morning, um, wake up early. Depending where you live, it's going to be a decent drive. So make sure that you are. You can. Oh, I'll pause right there. Dan, question.
Yeah, sorry, just for the package pickup, I saw there is still the option to go on Friday, right?
Yeah.
To
So sorry.
the Lake
Yeah.
Lanier.
Yeah. So
Okay, just making sure that it's still an option.
yeah. So there's the earliest you can do it is Thursday at Podium Multisport. You can do it Friday in the afternoon. I believe it's like 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. or something. They're in the afternoon setting up, so anytime there. You can also do packet pickup race morning. So if you're like, hey, I just want to pick it up Saturday morning, I did that a lot. It's not a big deal. So yeah, don't stress about that. Um,
Perfect. Thank you.
all right, so Saturday, wake up, get a little bit of fuel in you, some food, leave your house, make sure you stay awake driving. I try to get there by 6 a.m. I think it's an 8 a.m. start. Uh, 6:30 would be okay. Anything after 6:30, and I start to get a little nervous. I've shown up to these races at like 7:15, and that gets like that's a little you're rushing. So the gates open officially at 6 a.m. If you rolled in at like 5:45, they wouldn't stop you, but kind of 6 a.m. is like the earliest that you can get there, and they'll have stuff set up for packet pickup and stuff. So that's I try to get there as soon as I can. There's a parking lot right by the finish line, and then there's a parking lot across the road. And kind of depending when you get there is which parking lot you get to. So if you're early, you'll be able to park closer to the finish line, which is nice. Um, there's lots of parking. It's not a big walk, so don't stress about that. There's lots of bathroom options, both an actual park bathroom and a porta potty. Um, when you get there, you can pick up your packet if you haven't already. Just have an ID with you, um, and your USAT triathlon number. And if you've already packed up your picket, man, if you've already picked up your packet, you still need to get your timing chip. And so you show your race bib that's in your packet. So you show your race bib, you get the timing chip. It's on a Velcro strip, and you're going to put that on your left leg. You put it on your left leg because if it's on your right leg, it can get chewed up in your bike. So that's why, I mean, it doesn't matter that much, but left leg recommended. You will get marked. So they'll do markers and write your name on your arms and on the back of your leg. Um, and then you go set up transition. We'll talk about that in a minute. What to wear? Ideally, if you have a triathlon kit, that's the best. You can wear a swimsuit. Lots of people do that. Uh, my only concern is if there's some chafee on the bike, um, but you don't necessarily need a shirt for anything. So if you want to do it in a Speedo for you guys, there's been some guys that have done it. I wouldn't recommend it, but hey, if you want the attention, go for it. My routine when I show up in the morning, I'll drive in, get there about 6 a.m., hit the bathroom before it gets busy, pick up my timing chip, set up transition. I'll make sure I got, bike chamois cream on, get everything dressed, good to go. I go to the bathroom again, and then just hang out. And then, 10, 20 minutes out before start, I'll do a little bit of warm up. Um, I might you can do some practice swimming, and the weather's going to be nice. So practice swimming is not a horrible idea. And then about 5-10 minutes before start, make sure you're at the swim start. They'll do some announcements I'll talk about in a minute. You'll line up based on your number and your cap color, and then you'll be ready to go. And David, absolutely, Speedo was the kit of choice back in the 80s, and then we decided, hey, that's not a good idea. Um, oh, Ben's here. Awesome. So Ben is one of the race directors, so he's going to correct me if and when I say something wrong. So thanks for jumping on, Ben.
No problem. Sorry, I couldn't get my internet to reconnect.
Oh, no worries. And I assume the course is similar to previous years. No big changes. We
Just
have a
the
new
change
run.
we made last year for the
Yeah.
run course.
Yep, new run exactly like last year. Awesome. Laura will answer that in just a minute when we get to the swim. So transition, there'll be racks with number ranges. So it'll be like this rack is for bikes 1 through 6. And the next rack will be like this is for bikes 7 through 12 or whatever. I think it's 6 bikes per rack. And so you don't necessarily need to line up bikes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but just have your bike. If I'm number 4, I just need to be somewhere on the rack that says 1 through 6. It usually ends up where everyone's in close to numerical order, and then it's easy to know where you go. You're going to alternate bikes on either side of the rack so that everyone has room, and you really only have like a foot and a half next to your bike to put stuff. And so this is my transition setup right here. This picture, I have like a little mat, and then I'll have my bike shoes, my helmet, my running shoes, a number belt with my bib, and then like sunglasses and a hat. If you don't use bike shoes, that's totally fine. If you're just gonna like use your bike with your running shoes, that's no big deal. But this is how I have things set up. And the important rule with between transition is, and it's a USAT rule, is you cannot touch your bike or take your bike off of the rack until you have your helmet on and clicked on. And we'll talk about that again, but that's just a safety thing to make sure you're wearing your helmet. So you get in there in the morning, you do everything, you get your packet, you get your timing chip, you get your bib, everything, and then you set up transition. And then you can see in the bottom right of the picture, I have like a backpack with just my other stuff. I will take that and move that out of transition, give it to my wife or something like that, or just put it out on the side so that I'm not blocking transition. Then I got everything set up. Then it's 5-10 minutes before the race starts. There will be a race briefing where they will get on with a microphone and they'll kind of talk what we're talking about today in an abbreviated form. And they also have in the race packet a sheet that they'll read some of that. So if you don't hear some of the race briefing, don't stress out. It should be everything that they say. The referee will get on, talk a little bit, talk about a couple rules that he or she'll be paying attention to. They'll have national anthem, they'll have a pre-race prayer, and they'll say, okay, we'll start in 3 minutes. And then that's the countdown. And then we'll talk about start in just a minute. So, Dan, to answer you, I don't think it'll be wetsuit legal. This race has been wetsuit legal in the past, but weather's been fairly nice. Ben, I don't know if you have any predictions.
We don't have any information on it currently, but it's only been wetsuit legal once. My only concern would be the amount of rainwater we've had.
Yeah.
Just cooling it down. We will have that Friday, but it definitely won't be like a wetsuit is needed. It's just whether or not it's wetsuit legal.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to freeze to death if you don't have one, but if you want that little edge, the ruling is made Saturday morning. They'll take an official temperature reading, and the referee make sure everything's good to go. But yeah, they often, Ben, you guys often post on like Instagram or whatever what it is on Friday to give some
we'll get a
guidance.
read on Friday and try and put that out there just to give you an idea. If it's above 79, I would say there's probably no chance that it would be in the morning. But we've had weirder things happen. So
Yeah. So if you have one, I'd throw it in the car. If you want it. All right. So before we get to the starting and the swim, any questions on prep or logistics before the gun goes off? And for those that are on for duathlon and I'll touch on that real quick. So duathlon, you're gonna run, swim, run. There will be a separate starting line for the duathlon. It has a big banner that says "Do Start," like DU start, and you'll run the run course, and then the aquabike you start with everyone else. I think just in a different wave, and then we'll talk about the finish for that. Significant others, I think they're encouraged to just have athletes in transition. So significant others can be right outside transition, maybe hold your bag for anything, but just have you because otherwise it gets a little too crowded. So just athletes in transition.
yeah, we're at 452 racers. It'll be very crowded in transition.
Ooh, yeah, that's a nice big race. That's awesome. All right, so then we get to the swim. So and this is some old info, so I have to look at what the actual water temperatures is. This is from last year. So potentially wetsuit legal. 1 in 10 years, 1 in 20 years, it's been wetsuit legal. So usually not, but maybe. If you do have a swim skin, you can wear that. It's a short swim, so unless you're fast at taking off your swim skin, it might not be worth wearing it. So anyway, so you line up according to your number. So number 1 is first, number 2, second, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And the first chunk of people will have a certain cap color. I think it's usually red. and then the next chunk will have a different cap color. So you can kind of see where you are in the line. So if you have a green cap, you're probably going to be lining up close to the other green caps. And it's a loose lineup. So if, hey, I'm number 7, number 8's in front of me, yeah, like no one's going to get disqualified. You could be like, "Hey, man, let me in front." But if it's not a perfect lineup, it's not the end of the world. And then every 5 seconds, someone's going to start. So they will have a phone that kind of counts down, and it'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you go. Um, and the reason you line up, yeah, the swim cap will be provided, and it'll be in the pickup packet. So yeah, so sorry, don't worry about that. The reason we have people line up by number is so that the fast swimmers kind of go first and the slower swimmers in the back. That way there's not a lot of people running into each other. So that's the story behind that. Um, they seed you based on what you put in when you register as your 400 swim time. So if for some reason you show up and you're like, "Whoa, I'm number 1 and I'm not a fast swimmer. I think I put the wrong number in." That's fine. Just go back to where you feel comfortable and it'll be okay. The swim is about 600 meters. You go, let me find my little laser pointer thing. So you'll start the transitions kind of like right here. You'll go out, or no, sorry, transitions down here. The finish line's up here. Transitions down here. You go out. There's a big red tomato that you turn right at, and then there'll be another big red tomato you'll turn right at, and it's a sharp turn in. And then there's a boat ramp that you will come up, and then you'll go straight into transition right here. I think I have some pictures right here. So this is what it looks like in the ring, and it's like a rocky little beach area, and they put down these nice black mats, but there still can be some rocks, and it's in like a stadium seated like back behind here, behind the picture, there's like seating area for back when the Olympics were there, right? And so all everyone watching and other athletes even will be sitting up there. So you'll go in one at a time every 5 seconds. This is what transition looks like. Hold on, let me find. I thought I had a picture. Okay, so this is a picture for the run, but this is down here is one of the big red tomatoes. And so that's the last turn. And so you're going to be swimming towards the bridge. You go around that and you do a hard, like right turn into the boat ramp. Sorry, let me go back here. So it's 600 meters, takes anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. It's usually calm water. There's no waves unless a boat decides to come by, which is rare. And let's see, Mike has a question. Where exactly on the beach is the start? Yeah, so it's kind of like this rocky area, but so be careful, but they have some good padding. And then coming up the boat ramp, they'll have padding. They'll have volunteers kind of help you stand up and not knock over. So Ben, anything I missed on the swim?
We don't have enough mats to cover the boat ramp, so the boat ramp is just the boat ramp coming up. But
Yeah,
um,
it's not too
it
bad.
also looks like you did that one really tightly because 674 yards is almost right on 600 meters.
There you go. You'll just want to run in. It's like a gradual in, so you don't want to dive because you'll just bump it. But like before it starts, a lot of people will warm up in the water, so you can get in the water, kind of feel it out, get a feeling for it, swim to the first buoy and back. That way it's, there's no surprises there. It looks like the weather. So it starts at 8 a.m. It will be just under 70 degrees. If you're wet, that's a little cool. So just plan ahead. Like if you're gonna go jump in the water and then get out for a long time, that might feel a little breezy. But so we got the swim, and then we got transition one. So you come up, I'll say, does the current typically flow towards the bridge? I don't remember like ever feeling any actual current. I think the current would flow to the bridge, but I don't think there's any current on this one.
Well,
Yeah,
if it is, it's more because of wind blowing in one direction or another.
yeah. There's the tomato buoys for the turns, and then there's small triangle pyramid built buoys for sighting. You're going to want to keep all the buoys on your right side. And yeah, it's not every 100 yards. It's just kind of like there's a couple between each. It's close enough that sighting's pretty easy. And usually, since the water's flat and calm, this is really easy to sight on. And then at the exit, the swim exit, there's going to be one of these wiggly man guys. I don't know what they're called. That's the best part to sight on. Sometimes coming into the finish, the boat ramp, you'll be swimming into the sun, so it's a little hard to see. So you'll look for that wiggly guy, the sight coming in. Transition one, come up the boat ramp, you go right into transition, take off your cap and your goggles. If you're wearing a wetsuit or a swim skin, get that off. Make sure if you take any of that off that it like put it under where your bike is. I've had friends get penalties for leaving their wetsuit out in like the middle where everyone's running, and that's a lame way to get a penalty. So keep it all under the racks. Get your helmet. Make sure your helmet is snapped. Then you can take your bike. You can do your bike shoes as well, and then walk your bike to the mount line. And if you're in a relay, that's where you're going to hand off the timing chip as well. So you walk your bike to the mount line. It looks like this white line right here. And it will say mount here. It looks just like this. And it's going to go uphill really quick. So when you set up your bike, you're going to want to put your bike in a low gear so that when you first get on the bike, you're not grinding. So keep it in a low gear and you'll be good to go. Let's see, that's T1. Any questions there? We'll jump into the bike next. All right, the bike. This is a really, really fun bike. So you come out of the parking lot and it's a hill up. So like this is the top of the hill, and so it's a little bit of hill, and then the first, I don't know, couple miles of the bike is uphill as well. And then it's nice rolling hills, nothing too crazy. I don't even remember getting out of my saddle very much at all. And then the last 2 miles is all downhill. Every and you'll come in very, very fast. That's the only tricky part is you'll be coming fast to the end, and you need to make a left turn into transition and go down a hill again. So the last little bit, you're gonna want to ride your brakes and make sure you don't speed too much. The biggest challenge for me on this bike was stopping at the end, just because you're flying down the speed, you're excited to get on the run, and you got to come down where there's a lot of congestion with bikes coming in and out, and make sure you get off. There are mile markers every 2 miles, so there'll be a sign that says, "Hey, 2 miles, 4 miles, 6 miles." There are volunteers and policemen at the turns, so it's fairly straightforward. It's hard to get lost. And then you go up, you go straight, and then you turn left, and you turn left again, and then you do a right turn, and then come right back in for a nice, easy lollipop road. I don't have the names of the roads memorized on purpose, or memorized, but Laurel, left on Bogus, left on Napone, and then right to come hack. That's right. Just some quick notes. So it's steep coming out of transition. The first 3 miles is uphill. All left turns except for that right to come home. Rarely there'll be some traffic, so it's not fully closed roads, but this is rural Georgia, so it's rare to see much traffic at all. But if there is, You're still riding on public roads, so be careful. Um, your heart rate will be very high, at least for me. The first half of the race, about mile 7 8, it tends to settle down, especially on this course because you just went up all that uphill. I'd say one water bottle, especially if you have an Aero water bottle, might be a good idea. Last 3 miles is a lot of fun, but coming into that parking lot, and then you're going to want to dismount before the dismount line, and they'll walk, they'll tell you to slow down and tell you to dismount before the line. There'll be volunteers there. You definitely don't need to put this in a bike computer. Like you're not going to get lost. If you do want to put it in a bike computer, you can grab the course from the Try the Parks website. You can also just look on, if you have a Garmin, you can go to Garmin Connect and look for routes, and this route's on there like 20 times. It's the same bike route it's always been, so you can grab any of those. And yeah, the roads are not closed. They are very, very sparse with traffic. So um, most people won't see any cars the whole time. Um, the only exception is sometimes right by the beginning and end of the bike course, right there by the dam on the lake. Sometimes there's cars there, but police will stop the cars so that you can turn into transition without any problem. Um, Okay, and yeah, there I forgot there you guys did close the northbound lane, so that's good news. That's recent. Anything else on the
That's
bike there?
just for the run course, but it prevents a lot of the traffic that comes out of Gainesville headed up that road.
Yeah, awesome. Let's see, drafting. So no drafting. This is a uh no drafting race. So you want to keep 6 bike lengths between you and the person in front of you, or 12 meters. And then you have 25 seconds to make a pass. Once you enter that pass, the draft zone, you have to pass or else that's drafting. If it gets really congested, do your best, and just do your best to not have an unfair advantage. There are refs and they're doing their best, but it's also just kind of the spirit of the sport. No headphones. You're going to pass on the left. Passing on the right will get you um, a penalty. And then yeah, you don't need any safety lights. You definitely can. They're not unallowed, but I wouldn't worry about it if you don't have them. Awesome. Then there'll be in the packet pickup, there'll be a sheet that kind of gives some more details on drafting. If you have any questions about that, let me know. Yeah, so you come in, this is the dismount line. And yeah, again, it looks like this, and there'll be people there calling out people to dismount. Apparently, I thought this was really important, so I showed like lots of dismounting. Um, so right of way. So you will have the right of way in that there will be police at intersections making sure cars are stopped and you can turn. But if you're just riding on a road and there's a random car, uh, like usually if there's a car, they'll just kind of follow and not get in your way. But they they don't know necessarily that there's a race going on. I mean, they'll have pass, so they'll know, but don't be like, oh, I'm just gonna weave in and out of traffic. Like you still have to follow right on the right side of the road.
Yeah, yes. Stay to the right, but you do have the right of way when it comes to your left turns. The police will stop that traffic.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And Mike, like it in the 6 times I've done this race, it's never been an issue. So just got to say, hey, follow follow the law that way. All right, transition two. So you come in screaming down the last 3 miles. You ride the brakes, you slow down, you stop, you get out of your bike, off your bike, and then you walk or jog it to the racks. You rack your bike. Once your bike is racked, then you can unsnap your helmet, put it down, and switch your shoes if you want to. And then most people will have an elastic bib holder that they can throw on, and then they're off to run. So there'll be a big or there'll be a sign that says run out. So like you'll know where to run out of transition. It's different for where you bike in. Um, and this is what a race belt is. So a lot of first time folks don't have this. This is not required. It just makes it really easy to, because you only need to wear your race number on the run. You don't need to wear it on the bike. And so this is what most people use to just snap on elastic belt that has your race bib on there. If you don't have one of these, you can order them on Amazon. This is from All Three Sports or Podium Multisport. It's like 20 bucks. I know on Amazon they have them for less than that. Or, if you're like, hey, whatever, I don't even want to do that. There you get safety pins with um when you pick up your packet. So you could just safety pin it onto your shirt. The big key is you don't want to wear or do not wear your bib while you swim because the water will destroy it or rip it off or whatever. And so you need to put it on later. Um, but yeah, so whether you pin it on in transition or you throw it on a belt or something, that's up to you. The run is a recently updated course, which I'm very happy about because you don't have to run through this neighborhood. Um, you start here, you will run up to the road, you'll run along the bridge right here, and then you'll keep going, and then you will turn around here and come back, and that will be your 3 miles. So it's straightforward. I don't, Ben, how was it last year? It seems like a great
It was
course.
great. It's a slow incline to the turnaround after you get off the bridge, um, but it's much flatter, much faster.
Yeah.
Um, so it was really good.
Yeah. We used to have to run up in this neighborhood and it was like a brutal hill repeat that broke everyone. But now you get just a slow incline. There will be water stations. Where's the water station, Ben?
Right there at 1 and 2. It's basically
Okay.
at 1.5. They're right next to each other on the map.
Perfect. Yeah. So you can grab water, and then just run back. And it's really fun coming back because you'll be on this bridge and you'll be able to see the finish. So that's really motivating. This is the bridge you're running across. So that's me running there. And so you just run down and then come right back and then run to the finish. This is what the finish looks like. There'll be a blue banner that says finish and you run up and that's where all the spectators are and they're all cheering and they yell your name. And it's much rejoicing. So like a lot of fun, very, very like fast course. Afterwards, they'll have some snacks like bananas and some chips or Oreos or something. You might want to bring your own post-race food, maybe some clothing to change into if you don't want to stay in your sweaty suit. And then the awards are usually around, I don't know, 11, maybe 11 a.m., maybe noon. So just kind of
We're definitely before noon. We try to go before 11.
okay, so before 11, 10:30 maybe. Um, so hang out, have fun, meet some people. You can usually get your stuff out of transition once everyone's done with their bike, get your car loaded up. They often have photos being taken and they'll upload those within 24 hours. And then once you're posting everything on Strava and on Instagram, be sure to tag Try the Parks and be like, look what I did. I crushed it. So that's kind of everything in a nutshell. We can do any questions. Ben, anything else you'd add before we just kind of open up to general questions?
It's going to be a fun race. I think our weather's going to be good. It looks great. This is, I think, the most we've ever had at this race. Um, Thankfully, the park added a bunch of parking. Um, but if you've done it in the past, maybe it's been a while, the run course is significantly better. We don't run through
Yeah,
the parking lot. We don't run through the tunnel. We don't run up and down the hills. So
I did
it's,
enjoy the tunnel run, but
yeah,
and then watching everyone break on that hill. So yeah, no, a lot more fun with the flat course. Yeah, no, we're good, Ryan. This is good report. I'll give a quick shout out for Try the Parks. So they if you're like, man, I love everyone that attends Try the Parks. I mean, over 450 people and then all their families. It's a lot of people. And so if you're like, hey, my company could really use some exposure and would love to sponsor Try the Parks, they are still looking for some potential sponsors. And they a lot of good publicity, a lot of good people that you can talk to, and they do a great job with their sponsors. So I'll throw that out there if you have a local business or a global business, they're like, hey, the Try the Parks racers are a good demographic. They, talk to Ben. He'll hook you up. All right,
We'd
what
love to have you.
questions? Yeah, what questions do you have? We'd love make sure everyone goes away saying, "Hey, I'm good to go." Ben is swimming the day before. Okay.
Um, the Corps of Engineer doesn't love it when we're swimming on that side. Um, we'll we would prefer you stay really close to shore. There is a beach on the opposite side of the bridge that has a swimming area if you want to just come practice.
Yeah.
But it
Perfect.
wouldn't be our course. So we have
But
no
you can,
control over the boat traffic that at that time of day, and we don't have people to put out on the water.
yeah, and you can swim race morning a decent amount. Unfortunately, I am not racing. I'm temporarily not riding the bike, but next year I will be there. My really good friend Kevin Regan is racing. He's going for the overall win. So if anyone can beat him, I'll give you $1. See if you can. He and I ran this morning together, and he's fast. So see what you can do. Let's see. Passing on the bike, should we move to the left within 6 lengths or stay behind the cyclist ahead until immediately before passing? So in the rules, you don't need to move to the left. Um, Fun fact, when you are a professional triathlete, you do need to move to the left so you don't get any drafting benefit, but you can pull up behind someone and enjoy 25 seconds or 20 seconds of a draft before you pass them. Um, but yeah, once you get
But
into
if you
that,
can't complete it, you have to move back out of the draft zone.
well, if you can't complete it, that's actually drafting and you can get a penalty.
Oh,
But yeah, let's see, etiquette tips for passing people. Um, yeah, I mean, overall arching is we're safety is first. So if again, even if it's against the rule, but for a safety reason, like passing isn't smart, say a car is coming by and you're like, oh shoot, or something like that. Not that that happens, but overall, be safe. Second, everyone's there having a good time, to be kind. You often don't need to yell out like, hey, on your left or anything. Um, but sometimes I'll if people aren't paying attention and they're kind of in their zen zone, I'll just make a noise or something so they know I'm coming up to pass them. Uh yeah, and then yeah, when you pass them, don't slam on your brakes or anything. Like don't be a jerk. I don't think anyone that's not an issue. No phones on the course, no headphones on the course. That's just a safety thing. All right, nutrition plan for this race. So because it's fairly short, a lot of people will do this in an hour 15, hour and 30 minutes. And honestly, like under 90 minutes, you don't necessarily need calories for any workout or race. So I wouldn't stress too much about nutrition. It's hard to get this wrong versus like a marathon or a Ironman where nutrition can absolutely destroy you if you do it wrong. So there's nothing that's gonna totally mess you up. For me personally, I would do, I'd eat a small breakfast in the morning. I would do a gel kind of right before, maybe 5 to 10 minutes before the race starts. And then, I might have in my water bottle, some kind of electrolyte drink, Gatorade type thing. I don't know. I don't think I'd even taken a gel on the race, but I'm also usually doing this in like an hour. If it was going to be an hour and a half or longer, maybe a gel halfway through. But it's just kind of what you're used to, what you've been training with, and again, it's not going to be that long. So, if you wanted to have a gel in transition ready for you. So after your bike, you're like, okay, I got to run a 5K. how am I feeling? I might need a little bit of calories. You have that option, but I wouldn't stress too much. Um, Ben, for the duathlon, I don't think you have to
Yeah.
wear the bib until the last run, right?
You don't have to, but we have several that do. The downside is it's going to flap around while you're on the bike,
Yeah.
unless you have it, I guess, pretty well pinned to the front of you, or and we do want your bib showing on the front because that's how we identify you coming to the finish line for our announcer.
Yeah. And then yeah, Ben, thanks for clarifying. So phone, you can carry it with you for emergency, but yeah, you shouldn't be using it, shouldn't be blasting tunes or anything. Let's see. Anything else? Any other questions? All right. Well, if anything comes in, I'll answer it. But otherwise, you can hit me up, either shoot me a message on Instagram or email me at atfuller@gmail. Um, yeah, the duathlon, only the bib is required for the last leg, so you can just put that on after the bike. Uh,
They'll be body marked,
yeah,
so you don't have to have it during that last piece. Um, it's just keep you from having to deal with it between the bike and the run.
yeah. It is a USAT triathlon or USAT sanctioned race. So you either need an annual USAT license, or I believe when you register, you can choose to have a 1 day license. So Cameron, if you're already registered, you're good to go. Don't stress if you're like, what is this? It's like, well, you actually already paid for a 1 day license with the
Yeah, and we
registration.
don't require them at check-in anymore either. It's all verified through USAT's website at registration now. So
Nice. Yeah, JM, I'll post this to YouTube or in just a little bit, and we'll get the link out. So final shout out. So if you're like, hey, this is awesome, I want a coach to help train me, I'd recommend Rock Multisport. Um, there's Lizzie Nitrate is a pro triathlete that coaches me and coaches lots of the athletes that will be racing on Saturday. All Three Sports and Podium Multisports is a big supporter um, Try the Parks. Uh, Podium Multisports, where you can pick up your packet on Thursday if you want to pick it up early. And then Try the Parks, just a big thanks to them. They're an awesome organization and put on my favorite races, especially in Georgia. Kona's pretty cool. 70.3 Nice is pretty cool. But Try the Parks, that's where the real fun is. Mostly because it fits my budget a lot better. And if you need anything else, there's my email. You can shoot me an email. I'm happy to answer. And we can even ask Ben if it's a really hard question. But thank you guys so much. We'll post this up on YouTube. Have a wonderful time on Saturday. For those of you doing it for the first time, I'm jealous of you because it's such a good feeling when you do your finish line. I will warn you, it is very addictive and you'll change your entire life to do more. But be better than me. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful night.
please make sure you bring your photo ID to registration. I'll just say that one more time, especially for all you new folks.
Yep. Bring your driver's license. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Ben.